Hi. We are going to do the sub worksheet. So make sure you try these and play these around and then double check your answers, okay? It says, graph the image of the figure after doing this transformation. This is the directions for 1 through 10. Okay, so rotate this thing clockwise. So if we're running low on patty paper, you can use just regular notebook paper and then just make a small piece and make sure you clean up after yourself. Okay, but you may actually notice a pattern. So you might be able to figure this out without using patty paper, which is even better. But so here's my origin. So I'm going to rotate clockwise right there. Okay. So it looks like here is my new E. Here is my new F. And G was down there. Now it's over here. G prime. Yep. G prime, F prime. Okay. So there it is. Let's see if we can notice. Oh, I had one more coordinate there that went along for the ride. So let's double check that. D. So D is just 4 away from E, so that it was right there. Okay, D prime. Let's fix that. There it is. There's my image. Make sure you have the primes. And let's look at this coordinate. So E showed up at 3, 3. F showed up at 1, -1. G showed up at -3, 1. D is at -1, 3. Well, wait a minute. Where were they to begin with? I think I kind of need to know that in order to see a pattern and be able to write a rule. Okay, so before they moved, let's see where E was. E was at -3, 3. F was at 1, 1. G was at regular G was at -1, -3. D was at -3, -1. So it looks like they definitely swapped spots. They swapped spots, but it looks like, let's do a little color coding. This -1 is still a -1. This -3 is still a -3. This +1 is still a +1. This +3 is still a +3. These are different. They're the same number, so they swapped position, but now instead of being negative, this one's positive. Instead of being positive, this one's negative. So they changed sign. Okay, so the rule would be, if I have an X and Y coordinate before, after it goes through the transformation, I now, all of these are the Y's, right? And this is the X. All the Y's are now here in this location. And all the X values, they put a negative sign in front of or multiplied by a -1. Oops, sorry, you couldn't see that. Okay? So here's my rule. All the X values stayed the same, but now they're over here, and the symbol on them did not stay the same. The -1s are now positive, and the +1s are now negative. So this is the rule. Okay, let's do another one. That's taking a little piece of scratch paper. Translate 3 to the right and 5 down. So now my patty paper doesn't work as well. I think it's easier to just do some bunny hopping. 3 to the right, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my new u prime. 3 to the right, 1, oops, I made a mistake. I was supposed to go 3 to the right, 5 down. It's been a long day, kids. Okay, use a different color. I was supposed to go 3 to the right, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. Okay, that's my u prime. Then this one, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's my v prime. Now notice the distance between these two is still the same. I move it down here. That's called rigid motion. Okay, last one, t, move 3 to the right and 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my new location for t prime. There's my shape and my rule. My new u is at -2, 0. V is at 0, -1. T is at -1, -5. Well, where was T? Well, it looks like T was at -4, 0. So what happened? The rule here was given. I had my x and y values, right? And 3 means I added 3, and that's why I ended up at -1. And I subtracted 5, and that's why I ended up at -5. So my rule is, this is my rule. This type of question, I'm just going to copy it down here. Okay. Cool. Now what happens when we rotate 180 about the origin? I think depending on your group, you may know exactly what's going to happen. So rotate it 90 and another 90, and now it looks like my kite is upside down. So let's pay attention to just this one right here. If I could keep track of that coordinate just there and then make up a rule. So u here starts down here, and then after I rotate him, u is up here. Right, so probably somewhere here. So I think that makes sense. Right now, u is at -3, -5. So right now, u is at -3, -5. But now it's at +3, +5. +3, +5. So I think I see the pattern. It was at -3, -5. Now it's at +3, +5. Okay, so let's figure out, well, W. W is at -2, +2, but now I need to be at +2, -2. Oops. That's where my regular, I told you it's a long day. +2, -2 is where my new W coordinate is. Let's see if that makes sense with our rotation. Okay, so here's our kite, and now we've made it upside down. And yep, it lands, both of them land right on top of where I thought they were going to. Okay. So x was 0, -1. Now it's going to be 0, +1. Okay. And v, last but not least, V was right here along that line. So when we spin it, it's on that line again, but it's just over here. All right, V prime. So it's now at 0, 4. Beautiful. So what happened here? Well, it looks like the coordinates this shape is mostly in this bottom quadrant where you have negative and negative values. Now it's mostly moving here to the positive and positive coordinates. So it looks like the signs all flipped. They were negative, negative, now they're positive, positive. So they needed to change signs. Let's look at V. V before was 0, negative 4. Now it's 0, positive 4. So the 0 kind of changed signs, but when you change the sign of 0, nothing happens. So our rule is our x value stayed the same, but now it's just negative x. Our y value stayed the same, but now it's just negative y. All right. Reflect across the y. So we're getting pretty good at that. Imagine if we painted this and folded it. So it would be over here. Does that make sense? So we folded it on the y-axis. Now d prime is up here. C prime doesn't change and B prime doesn't change. 1, 4, 0, 0. Ugh, I made another mistake. I've been making mistakes on every one of these because I'm tired. 4, 0. Sorry, it's been a long day. So what is the rule? Well, D was at negative. D before was at 1, negative 4. Now it's at 1, positive 4. So it looks like the rule here would be the x values stay the same, the y value changes its sign.